You know who this guy is, don't you?
How many know what I'm talking about here? Say I. We can get ourselves to do anything. We can get through it. If you're creative enough, playful enough, fun enough, can you get through to anybody, yes or no?
If you think he is the one who will help us today improving our English in this video, you're correct.
How easy for me to tell him what he should do. Is God punishing me or rewarding me, or is this the roll of the dice?
Alright, but in fact, Tony Robbins is an American book author, he's a life coach, he's a motivational speaker and philanthropist. He is an incredible personality. As I was reading his biography, I was fascinated by a few facts and just impressed. And actually, if you would like me to dedicate a separate live session where we could read a few facts from his biography about his personality, let me know in the comments below. Just type in right now, say yes, I would be interested, and then I will make such video. Have you ever heard him speaking in English exactly? He speaks fast, and I mean really fast, with quite an American accent if your ears are not used to. So what about right now? We will listen to one of his most popular speeches. He performed exactly at TED Talks back in time. We will train our ears to such fast speed. We will stop at few places, listen again, focus on a few words and their meanings, learn a few interesting expressions, and, by the way, learn what his talk is about. So, are you ready? Here we go.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I'm both challenged and excited. My excitement is I get a chance to give something back. My challenge is the shortest seminar I usually do is 50 hours.
To give something back, two meanings. First of all, you can refer to the money. If you borrowed some money from someone, then you are giving it back with interest. Or someone is borrowing money from you and you say, you will have to return it to me with interest. You will have to give it back to me with interest. But also you may refer to returning something to someone with excess of what you received. So for example, we will give back all your kindness to you with interest. So to give back, to give more than you received.
I'm not exaggerating. I do weekends, and what I do more than that, obviously, coach people, but I'm into immersion. Because how'd you learn language? You didn't learn it by just learning principles. You got in it, and you did it so often that it became real.
Exaggerating. To exaggerate, it means to make something seem bigger, larger, or worse, or better than it is in reality. So, for instance, you may say, oh my God, I spent all my salary for this new purse. And you hear back, oh, come on, don't exaggerate. It didn't cost that much. It was just $100. He said, I do weekends. It means he works at weekends. To do weekends, to work during weekends. Immersion, do you know this word? It means to become completely involved in some particular subject. For instance, you might say total immersion in video games is like living a separate life. And often you may hear such advice that if you want to learn language as fast as possible, then you need this complete immersion. So you have to surround yourself with language. Listen as much as possible to this language, talk to people, hear people, listen to radio, watch movies, and actually live in the country. So you're kind of in absolute immersion of it.
But I'm into immersion because how'd you learn language? You didn't learn it by just learning principles. You got in it and you did it so often that it became real. And the bottom line of why I'm here, besides being crazy mofo, is that I'm really in a position, I'm not here to motivate you, obviously. You don't need that.
I better show you what a mofo is. Okay? Look.
And a lot of times that's what people think I do. And it's the furthest thing from it. What happens, though, is people say to me, well, I don't need any motivation. And I say, well, that's interesting. That's not what I do. I'm the why guy. I don't know why you do what you do.
Did you get it? He says, I am the why guy, the why guy. I want to know why you do what you do.
So I've had an interesting laboratory to try to answer the question of the real question, which is what's the...
Let's stop for a second here with this word. Two different pronunciations in the UK version and US version. Listen.
Laboratory. Laboratory.
So I've had an interesting laboratory to try to answer the question of the real question, which is what's the difference in somebody's life if you look at somebody like those people that you've given everything to, like all the resources they say they need. You gave them not a $100 computer, you gave them the best computer. You gave them love, you gave them joy, you were there to comfort them. And those people very often, and you know some of them I'm sure, end up the rest of their life with all this love, education, money, and background, spending their life going in and out of rehab.
Going in and out of rehab. What is rehab? Rehab is the process of helping someone lead a normal life after they've been ill or sick or they've been going through the drug or alcohol problems. Rehab is short for rehabilitation. He spent 4 years in rehab to get over his heroin addiction.
And then you meet people that have been through ultimate pain. Psychologically, sexually, spiritually, emotionally abused, and not always, but often they become some of the people that contribute the most to society.
Who have been through ultimate pain. So this word ultimate can be used in many contexts, but it always aims to emphasize the meaning, the whole message. So ultimate means extreme, something important, the best or the worst, the most important or the most powerful. For example, trees are the ultimate source of fresh and clean air, meaning the most important, fundamental, basic, primary. You can also use ultimate to describe the most extreme and unpleasant example of a particular thing. So exactly as Tony Robbins has said here, that they've been through ultimate pain, so something absolutely unpleasant. Spiritually, I think you know it. It is about the spirit, so something what is connected to our deeper feelings and beliefs, and quite often it is also about our religious beliefs. So spiritually means in a way that is about our spirit. For example, he is a very strong person, both morally and spiritually. If someone is abused, they are treated very badly and violently. So exactly as he said, so they've been spiritually, emotionally abused, so they've been treated badly and, of course, feeling very bad about it. Another meaning that you can use this word for when you're talking about something that is used in a wrong way or bad way. So you can say an abuse of power, or it can be drug and alcohol abuse. So meaning in wrong way, badly. And let's check, you know this word, to contribute means to give. Very often we talk about money when we contribute, so you can contribute some amount of money for charity. But contribute means that you give anything you can. You may contribute your resources, you can contribute your energy, your time, etc.
So the question we got to ask ourselves really is, what is it? What is it that shapes us? And we live in a therapy culture. Most of us don't do that, but the culture is a therapy culture. And what I mean by that is the mindset that we are our past. And everybody in this room, you wouldn't be in this room if you bought that theory, but most of society thinks biography is destiny. The past equals the future. And of course it does if you live there. But what people in this room know, and what we have to remind ourselves though, because you can know something intellectually, you can know what to do and then not use it, not apply it.
What is it that shapes us, he says? Someone or something that shapes a situation or an activity has great influence on it. Like it or not, our families shape our lives and make us what we are. And the synonyms are form or affect, influence, or actually make. Destiny is fate, fortune, karma, or even stars, you may say. Is it destiny that brings people together, or is it accident? Interesting thought of him. The past equals the future. So equals in this case means to result in. So our past equals, so results in our future. For example, he disputed the idea that more money equals better education, meaning he doesn't think that more money would guarantee a better education. So more money doesn't equal better education in this case, or equals better education. Also, equals means to be as good as. So you kind of say that this subject A equals subject B, so it is the same good as the other one.
So really what we got to remind ourselves is decision is the ultimate power. That's what it really is. Now,
here again he said ultimate. Remember what it is? Extreme, important, extremely unpleasant experience, or the best or the worst. In this case, he says decision is the ultimate power, meaning the decision is the biggest power that we have.
So really what we got to remind ourselves is decision is the ultimate power. That's what it really is. Now, when you ask people, you know, have you failed to achieve something? How many have ever failed to achieve something significant in your life? Say I. Thanks for the interaction on a high level there.
Okay. Interaction, it means communication. So when you interact, there is some communication, some exchange of words and emotions. But why is everyone laughing here? Because I think that's the play with the words. He says on a high level there. So first of all, it may mean that there is a balcony, for example, and people are sitting really high, and he heard them responding to him. But also on a higher level, possibly would mean that they understand him so well. So they get the idea he's talking about and he's happy. He says, thanks for the interaction on a higher level there. You know what I mean here.
But if you ask people, why didn't you achieve something? Somebody who's working for you, you know, or a partner, or even yourself, and you failed to achieve a goal, what's the reason people say they failed to achieve? What do they tell you? Didn't know enough, didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the money, didn't have the time, didn't have the technology, you know, I didn't have the right manager, didn't have the Supreme Court.
Okay, do you know who this guy is? This one. Okay, let me explain you why they're all laughing and why Tony Robbins recognized him. First of all, the Supreme Court is the most important court in a country or state. And you know, the court is where the judge is and the jury is, and they kind of decide on people's destinies. Especially it is the most important court in the US. And this gentleman is Al Gore, or Albert Gore, also known as a father of the internet. But apart from this, Albert Arnold Gore is an American politician and environmentalist who served as the 45th Vice President of the United States from 1993 to 2001, and Gore was Bill Clinton's running mate in their successful campaign. So when Bill Clinton was a president, Al Gore was the vice president. And he is referring to the Supreme Court because he was a Democratic nominee for the 2000 presidential election. He won the popular vote, but after a controversial election dispute over Florida recount, settled by the US Supreme Court, he lost to Republican opponent George Bush. So Tony Robbins is asking why you failed, what was wrong that did not allow you to achieve what you wanted, where you fail, he says, the Supreme Court. And he is known as the father of the internet because back in times when not everyone had the internet in their houses in 1980s, he was a congressman and he provided intellectual leadership by helping create the vision of the potential benefits of high-speed computing and communication.
I didn't have the right manager.
Supreme Court.
Didn't have the Supreme Court. And what do all those, including the Supreme Court, have in common? They are a claim to you missing resources. And they may be accurate. You may not have the money. You may not have the Supreme Court. But that is not the defining factor.
He says, a claim to you missing resources. So a claim is the demand of something that you think you have the right to. So Tony says, they are a claim to you missing resources. So this is just your excuse. You think that you need these resources, you have the right to these resources, but it's just an excuse. You just claim it. Because also a claim is something what is said but cannot be proved. For instance, he rejected a claim that he came to country illegally. So someone claimed that he is on a legal stay here, and he says, you claimed that I came here illegally, but that's not true and you cannot prove it. That's why you claim. Because if someone tells, it means that they know and they have the proof of it. But if you claim, it means it can be disputed. So it may not be truth, it may be false and not easy to prove. The defining factor is the same as the determining factor, and it is important factor, okay? The one which helps you to decide. For instance, for most people, the price is the determining factor when choosing a car to buy.
What determines your resources? We've said decisions shape destiny, which is my focus here. If decisions shape destiny, what determines it is 3 decisions. What are you going to focus on? Right now, you have to decide what you're going to focus on. In this second, consciously or unconsciously, the minute you decide to focus on something, you got to give it a meaning. And whatever that meaning is produces emotion. Is this the end or the beginning? Is God punishing me or rewarding me, or is this the roll of the dice? And emotion then creates what we're going to do, or the action.
And again, he says determine. So determine means to control, to make decision over. And it can be you who makes this decision, so you decide, or it can be something else. So that's why Tony Robbins is saying, what determines your resources? For instance, what determines your career? It is you who determines it, so you make decision over it. Okay, I bet you know it, but in case you forgot, conscious and unconscious. Conscious means awake, be absolutely aware of what is going on. You think about it, you notice, you understand, you realize. And unconscious is the opposite. Without understanding, without being awake, without being here. So, for instance, you may lose conscious. It means to faint, you know, in the older times when ladies would be wearing the corsets and it would be difficult to breathe, they would often lose conscious, yes, and they would just fall down. So lose conscious, faint, or to become unconscious. So you can make decisions consciously or unconsciously, meaning that you understand what you are doing, or you may be conscious, so you see what's going on, you are here, or you can be unconscious. For instance, you felt bad and you became unconscious. To punish means to cause people who've done something bad or they've done some kind of crime do something what they don't want to do, obviously. So, for example, make them go to prison. He received 3 years in prison as the punishment for that crime, or he was punished with 3 years in prison for that crime. We can also talk about some small punishment, like you can punish a friend for not calling you for too long, or you can punish a kid for eating all of the candy at home. And the opposite, a reward, is what you receive when you've done something very well, you worked hard or provided a service to the community. And this reward can be a financial reward, or it can be just moral reward. For instance, you can say never give children sweets and candy as a reward for behaving well, or don't reward your children with sweets for behaving well. Roll of the dice, or also throw of the dice. So just a sec, this is a dice. And when you say about the roll of the dice, you mean that it is a risky attempt to receive something. So you may win or you may not win, you know, kind of win, achieve what you want, get what you want. For instance, hoping to win in poker is a roll of the dice.
So think about your own life, the decisions that have shaped your destiny. And that sounds really heavy, but in the last 5 or 10 years, 15 years, haven't there been some decisions you've made that if you made a different decision, your life would be completely different? How many can think of one, honestly? Better or worse? Say I.
And now he will go through 6 human needs, which are actually the main subject of his talk here at TED Talks. But we will look at them in the part 2 of Tony Robbins' performance. So subscribe right now if you haven't done it yet, and click that ring bell button so that you will be notified about part 2 coming out on my channel. And right now let's check what you remember from this lesson so that you can praise yourself for learning a few new words or recalling those which you already knew. All right, here we go. Total in video games is like living a separate life. Total in video games is like living a separate life. Total immersion in video games is like living a separate life. Trees are the source of fresh and clean air. Trees are the source of fresh and clean air. Trees are the ultimate source of fresh and clean air. Hoping to win in poker is a Hoping to win in poker is a Hoping to win in poker is a roll of the dice. Well done you, good job! If you were not sure about a few answers, just watch this video one more time and recommend it to anyone for whom it will be useful as well. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, because I will have many more lessons like this one with TED Talks performances, because I'm a huge fan of TED speeches and there are so many incredible performances which I'm looking forward to show you, and of course practice English in this way. I hope you liked our today's lesson. If you did, please give it a thumb, because it will make a huge difference for this video and for my channel. More and more people will be able to find it and to enjoy it the same way you did. And I hope to see you in my next videos. Remember about the part 2. For this, check out the comments down below. I will pin the link to the part 2 of Tony Robbins' speech at TED Talks. I hope to see you in my next videos. Until then, take care. See you soon. Bye.